Welcome to video number 9 on Gap Advisors channel. In this video, we will be discussing the classification of trade receivables as current or non-current. In this video, we will be discussing the following points. What are trade receivables? So we will understand what are trade receivables. The criteria for classification of assets as current or non-current. The guidance given in Ind AS 1 on classification of trade receivables as current or non-current. The guidance given in guidance note on division 1 and division 2 of schedule 3 to the Companies Act issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India ICI. And finally we will discuss our conclusions. What are trade receivables? Ind AS 115 defines a receivable and division 2 of schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013 and division 1 defines what is a trade receivable. So what is a receivable? Paragraph 108 of Ind AS 115 defines a receivable as an entity's right to consideration that is unconditional. A right to consideration is unconditional if only the passage of time is required before payment of that consideration is due. So therefore, if an entity has a right to consideration but it is subject to something else other than the passage of time, it is not a receivable, it is an asset. Yes, the right to consideration is always an asset, but that asset is not a receivable. Division 2 of Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013 states that a receivable shall be classified as a trade receivable if it is in respect of the amount due on account of goods sold or services rendered in the normal course of business. So therefore, a receivable that arises from selling goods or services, that is from revenue generation in the ordinary course of business, in the normal course of business, is a trade receivable. Ind AS 115 defines revenue as income arising in the ordinary course of business. Okay, so here you can see the relation. That the revenue is income arising from ordinary course of business, and here a receivable is a trade receivable if it arises from goods sold or services rendered in the normal course of business. So on one side you have a revenue and on the other side you have a trade receivable. Paragraph 108 of Ind AS 115 states that an entity shall account for a receivable in accordance with Ind AS 109. Ind AS 109 in paragraph 5.1.3 states that an entity shall measure trade receivables at the transaction price if it does not contain a significant financing component. Normally, financial assets and financial liabilities are initially measured at fair value. That is given in paragraph 5.1.1. So, therefore, 5.1.3 states that despite the requirement in paragraph 5.1.1 to measure financial assets and financial liabilities initially at fair value, the initial measurement of trade receivables that do not have a significant financing component is at the transaction price, and if it is having a significant financing component, then it is at fair value. We will understand the criteria for classification of assets as current or non-current in this slide. This criteria is given in Ind AS 1 and Division 1 and Division 2 of Schedule 3 to the Companies Act. An entity shall classify an asset as current when it expects to realize the asset or intends to sell or consume it in its normal operating cycle. It holds the asset primarily for the purpose of trading. It expects to realize the asset within 12 months after the reporting period, or the asset is cash or a cash equivalent as defined in Ind AS 7, unless the asset is restricted from being exchanged or used to settle a liability for at least 12 months after the reporting period. An entity shall classify all other assets which do not meet any of the above criteria as non-current. Here you may see that the first criterion is it expects to realize the asset or intends to sell or consume it in its normal operating cycle. Whereas the third criterion is it expects to realize the asset within 12 months after the reporting period. So, therefore, we have to see the first criterion of normal operating cycle as whether an asset is realized or is expected to be realized or intended to be sold or consumed in normal operating cycle, not within normal operating cycle. It is in normal operating cycle. I will repeat again. So the first criterion is that an entity expects to realize the asset or intends to sell or consume it. So the expectation to realize the asset or the intention to sell or consume the asset should be in the normal operating cycle. So either the asset is in the normal operating cycle or not in the normal operating cycle. There is no boundary. Whereas in the third criterion there is a boundary within. When we use within, there is always a boundary. Within that boundary, in that boundary only we can play. Whereas in the first criterion, there is no boundary. It says either the asset is in the normal operating cycle. If it is, then it is always current. If it is not in the normal operating cycle, then it is not current. Okay. Paragraph 68 of Ind AS 1 provides the following guidance on classification of trade receivables and inventories as current. Current assets include assets such as inventories and trade receivables that are sold, consumed, or realized as part of the normal operating cycle. Here the word uses part of the normal operating cycle. So what we discussed in the previous slide, either the asset is in the normal operating cycle or not in the normal operating cycle. So if it is in the normal operating cycle, that is, if it is part of the normal operating cycle, okay, then even when they are not expected to be realized within 12 months after the reporting period, then also these are to be classified as current assets. Okay, so an asset, if it is part of the normal operating cycle, again I will say, if it is part of the normal operating cycle, irrespective or regardless of what is the period of the normal operating cycle, or what is the expectation of the entity, in what period the asset is to be realized or recovered. That is not to be seen. If the asset is part of the normal operating cycle, then it is always a current asset. The guidance note on Division 1 or Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013 issued by ICI gives the following guidance. The Division 1 of Schedule 3 is basically a non-Ind AS schedule. So basically it applies to companies that, to whom accounting standards notified under Companies Accounting Standards Rules 2006, also understood as Indian GAAP, is applicable. Okay, so we are not discussing here the Ind AS. So under accounting standards as such, there is no requirement or guidance to classify an asset or liability as current or non-current. It is contained only in Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013, which the guidance note has interpreted in its own manner. So, what is the guidance? Let's say a company has sold 10,000 tons of steel to its customer. The sale contract provides for a normal credit period of 3 months. The company's operating cycle is 6 months. However, the company does not expect to receive the payment within 12 months from the reporting date. So here the operating cycle is 6 months, whereas the company is expecting to receive the payment, recover the asset beyond 12 months of the reporting period. Therefore, the same should be classified as non-current in the balance sheet. So here the guidance note states that the receivable, trade receivable will be classified as non-current in the balance sheet. Though the trade receivable is always a part of the normal operating cycle, which we saw in video number 7 on operating cycle disclosure. We saw that always the operating cycle calculation includes trade receivables. Okay, so there were trade and para 68 of Ind AS 1 also clarifies that. However, here, even though the trade receivable is part of normal operating cycle, here the guidance note ignores that and states that if the trade receivable is not expected to be received within 12 months from the reporting date, such trade receivable is non-current and not a current. So therefore there is a disparity between between the requirements of Ind AS 1 and between the guidance note on Division 1 of Schedule 3. However, because there is no guidance on accounting standards, we have no issues with this particular guidance. Now we will see the guidance in guidance note on Division 2 of Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013 issued by ICI. Items of inventory or trade receivables which may be consumed or realized within the normal operating cycle should be classified as current even if the same are not expected to be so consumed or realized within 12 months after the reporting date. So here there is a bit of a change, that if the items of inventory or trade receivables are expected to be realized within consumed or realized within the company's normal operating cycle, then it is always to be classified as current even though the trade receivable is not expected to be realized within 12 months. Okay, so that means if the normal operating cycle, the period of normal operating cycle is more than 12 months, let's say it is 15 months, and then any trade receivable which is expected to be realized within that 15 months, okay, is to be classified as current. However, if let's say the however by this guidance, what comes out is if the operating cycle is, the period of operating cycle is let's say 6 months, okay, and the company expects that a trade receivable is to be realized within 15 months, okay, that is more than 12 months, then because the trade receivable is not expected to be realized within the company's normal operating cycle, that trade receivable must be classified as non-current. In our view, this guidance is not in accordance with Ind AS 1, where we saw that in para 68 of Ind AS 1 is very clear that if an asset is a part of normal operating cycle, and the first criterion of the of Ind AS 1, the criterion for classification of current asset, it says that if an asset is expected to be realized in its normal operating cycle, that therefore if any asset is part of the normal operating cycle, irrespective or regardless of the period of normal operating cycle or the period in which the entity or the company expects to realize that particular asset, it is always to be classified as current. So so in our view, this guidance is not in accordance with Ind AS 1. Paragraph 61 of Ind AS 1 states, whichever method of presentation is adopted, an entity shall disclose the amount expected to be recovered or settled after more than 12 months for each asset and liability line item that combines amounts expected to be recovered or settled no more than 12 months after the reporting period and more than 12 months after the reporting period. So therefore, as we have seen that a line item of trade receivable is always classified as current as per para 68 of Ind AS 1. However, in para 61, Ind AS 1 requires that if part of the trade receivable is to be recovered beyond 12 months, after 12 months, okay, then the company is required to disclose that what amount of trade receivable which is classified as current is to be recovered or realized after 12 months, and what is expected to be realized within 12 months. Okay, so that disclosure is required. Now if we say that all assets are to be bifurcated into non-current and current, then this disclosure requirement becomes redundant when an entity follows a classified presentation, that is when it presents a balance sheet on the basis of non-current and current. Okay. However, in para 61, it starts with whichever method of presentation is adopted. Therefore, this para 61 applies to both liquidity format of presentation or current non-current format of presentation. It applies to both, and especially for current and non-current format of presentation, this disclosure is applicable to items of assets and liabilities that are in normal operating cycle but are expected to be recovered or settled no more than 12 months after the reporting period, and some are expected to be recovered or settled more than 12 months after the reporting period. Based on our discussion in previous slides, we can draw the following conclusions. 1. Trade receivables cannot be classified as non-current as per Ind AS 1. Guidance note issued by ICI requires trade receivables expected to be realized after 12 months when operating cycle is 12 months or less to be classified as non-current. Guidance note on Division 2 of Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013 issued by ICI therefore must be amended to conform to the requirements of Ind AS 1 by replacing the word within with in the guidance reproduced in previous slides. Thank you so much for watching this video. We request you to subscribe to Gap Advisors channel if you have not subscribed as of now. Please register on gapadvisors.com. You get 7 days of subscription access to all 9 repositories for free. You can also submit your issues on Indian GAAP and Ind AS for free. Please share this video to spread the knowledge and awareness on Ind AS. Thank you.